Tech bros versus feminists in tech. The eternal battle. Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and as an individual who has lived in basically every tech work mecca in the United States and has known hundreds of tech workers over the years, some being in my family or very close friends, I am pretty well versed in the social culture of techies. Granted, I never worked in tech myself, but ever since the 1990s, I have been hearing tales about life on the job as a programmer, a software tester, a team leader, or any number of other positions one could have in tech. And a few things have stood out. Back in the 90s, when I knew a ton of people who worked at Microsoft during the height of its prominence, the vast majority of people that I knew who worked in tech were so nerdy or geeky that they never really talked a whole bunch about sexism. Sure, there was the occasional complaint from women about guys who didn't expect her to be good at her job, but considering tech was a much smaller field in the 1990s and you usually had to be a lot more skilled to get the job back then, if a woman showed that she could do the work, people tended to just let her get on with it. However, when people talk about tech these days in cities like San Francisco and Seattle, there's a constant theme that I keep hearing about, which is the supposed sexism from tech bros, as they are called in a derogatory sense. Seriously, a lot of people don't realize this, but if you are talking to a feminist and they call a guy a bro, that's about the biggest insult that they can throw at them. And it's extra irritating because the feminists often think that people don't know that they are hurling a completely snide insult. If a feminist calls you bro, she means you're a stupid-ass tool of the patriarchy. Don't kid yourself. Regardless, something occurred to me recently when talking to a feminist who claims she used to work in tech. She said that eventually she began noticing sexist microaggressions, and so she decided to begin working in some sort of medicine-related field that made her much more happy. I thought about it, and I had the realization that tech-working feminists and the supposed tech bros, which do exist, are probably just two sides of the same coin. While fourth wave feminism has increased the paranoia from women in the workplace in tech, douchey dudes working in tech has also probably increased. Here's what you have to keep in mind about each group. To the best of my understanding from my good friends who have worked in this field, neither the tech bros nor the feminists who complain about them a lot are particularly good at the real difficult tech work. Seriously, the real talented nerds are neither particularly bro-ish, nor would they probably be whiny feminists who complain about mansplaining. From what I hear, the bros tend to work in advertising and sales, and other executive positions where they don't have to be particularly literate in technical stuff. Feminists, on the other hand, from my experience, are often women who simply couldn't handle working in a male-dominated field while being treated like a dude, while being expected to pull the same weight as a dude would. And when she was treated fairly, due to it being her job, she became convinced that her discomfort was the fault of sexism, when in reality, it was probably that she was being treated equally, and maybe she just wasn't good at that. Maybe that seemed really hard, so she became a feminist. This article from last year about a woman at Apple was pretty funny. She basically threw a fit because when some guy intruded onto the Apple campus and some of her coworkers in a company-wide group chat made the joke, "Hide your kids, hide your wife," in a reference to an extremely popular internet meme. They didn't mention the word rape, of course, but the song is about an attempted rapist. So the woman freaked the fuck out and said it was inappropriate for a work chat, which maybe was a fair point, and they said that they wouldn't do it again. But of course, that wasn't good enough for her, and she ended up taking a month off of work claiming the joke traumatized her or something. Like, what the hell? That embarrassing damsel in distress act is going to bring every woman in that working environment down. Like, bosses likely won't want to hire women because they're going to think that women are going to pull crap like that. It's unprofessional to take a month off of work because somebody referred to an internet meme. You fucking entitled piece of crap. How do you think you're positively representing women when you pull that crap? I mean, she acted like she maybe had some sort of PTSD or something. But I personally don't buy that for a moment. I think that she was probably just an entitled control freak that chose that opportunity to become the adult version of a bossy tattletale. What I think is really going on is pretty simple. Tech has expanded in the scope of its operations very dramatically over the past 10 years or so. And now that they have a bunch of advertising and administration type jobs that are opening up, some of them end up being filled by douchey guys that aren't particularly smart, that nobody really likes all that much, and others go to the entitled women who always were able to get through life with the nice, innocent, good girl routine, but aren't really all that good at anything besides being a kiss ass. Legitimately skilled tech workers don't like either of these people because they have work to do. So all that is left is for the douchey guys and the whiny feminist women to bicker with each other. Because ultimately, neither of them should have probably been hired in the first place. That's all I have to say for this video. Drop me a comment. Please do help me out on Patreon, or hit me up on Twitter so that I can link you with my PayPal if you want to donate, because Google takes quite a lot more than I thought from the Super Chat donations. And stay tuned.